Hey guys, welcome back to the Basics of Photography series. Today we're going to be talking about thinking ahead. One thing I know a lot of beginners struggle with, and something that I personally struggle with, you turn up to your photo shoot and you're just going blind. You turn up, you just kind of stand where everyone's sort of standing, you take your photos and then wonder why your photos look exactly the same as everyone else's, or you just didn't quite get a really good feel for the photos. Part of getting a good outcome is starting with a good idea of what you want to achieve. Doing a bit of research before you even turn up to where you're doing your photos. Obviously, if it's somewhere you've been before, you know the layout. So I go to Eastern Creek a lot in Sydney here. I know the track. I've been there for years. I've been shooting there for years. I know the different areas of the track. I know where to get to stand and where to get good frames and where to get good images depending on what's happening on the day. Having a think about, even just if you've never been there before, looking at Google Maps, looking at sort of just getting an idea of where the sun's going to be. Obviously, if you're going to be shooting, late afternoon and you're shooting towards the sun, your subjects are going to be in the dark. Possibly getting around the other side of the track, shooting with the light behind you. Do you want a sunset type shoot? Is there going to be a really good sunset? If there is, you might want to shoot looking at the sun or angle so it's slightly off camera so that you can get the sunset and the cameras in the background. And then adjust your settings to get a brighter subject with still getting your background. It's not even just about the light, it's just about getting into an area or getting into a position that's going to give you the best chance of getting the images that in your head you can see coming out with. Quite often, for a lot of, obviously, if you're going to a track or something like that, unless you've got media accreditation or media pass, you're going to be stuck to certain areas that you can get to. It's not to say you can't come up with something more creative. Can you put it on a tripod and shoot a bit higher? Is there somewhere you can get on a fence line that you can get right down low and shoot at a lower aspect to whatever your subject is? If you're doing static shots of a car for like a showroom piece, have a look, do some research, Google car shots, have a look at the different aspects you've got, find photos that look right to you, that, appealing to your eye and the sort of thing you want to come out with. Reverse engineer it. Have a look at it. Have they stood sort of waist height? Have they gotten below the car? Have they gotten above the car? Are they focusing more on the headlights? Are they focusing down the side of the car? Think ahead before you just jump out there and shoot. You're going to find you're getting a lot more usable images at the end of it. Obviously, when you're first learning, you haven't quite got your style yet. You haven't got your own way of doing things. Do some research. Do some Googling car shots, car videos, whatever you happen to be doing. See what they're doing. See what not even professionals, see what other amateurs are doing, see what other people are doing. Jump onto something like Flickr if you need to. It's a huge photography bank of, thousands of photos. I've got accounts on there. Pretty much every professional photographer I know has accounts on there. Jump on there and have a look at, Google whatever your subject is, car photography, drifting, motorbike race, whatever it happens to be. Whack into Google, search Google images, have a look what other people are doing. Have a look at the different angles they've got. Are they... like in my last video, one of my last videos, are they doing rule of thirds? Are they framing it on the third line? Are they putting them in the center of the image? Are they putting it to one side and to the other? How are they getting the motion image in there, or the feel of motion in their video, or their photo, sorry? Or are they, if you're doing static photos, are they using the lines of the car? Are they doing detail photos? Are they doing full image, like filling the frame of the car? Are they just doing a certain little detail image? Are they using more... using higher or lower depth of field, depending on what they're taking photos of? Do a lot of research before you even pick up the camera. It's going to make a massive difference to you. You're going to have a lot more confidence going in, because when you get out there and you sort of... When I personally get to a track or get to a subject that I'm going to shoot, I don't just grab the camera out and shoot. I kind of walk around for a bit, I have a look, I kind of see what the sun's doing, where the shadows are. If it's nighttime, have a look where the different light sources are coming from. Do you need an extra light source? If you're doing, obviously don't use flashes if you're doing racing photography. God forbid, do not use flashes if you're doing race photography. You'll get kicked out very quickly and piss a whole bunch of people off. If you're doing nighttime race photography, have a look where the lights are on the track. Have a look at, if you don't have off-camera flashes yet, if you're doing a static photo in a car park at night, all right, cool, can we move the car so it's a little bit under light, or it's got light on one side or the other so you can shoot using that light rather than the shadow? Can you use the light to your advantage? Maybe you want some really weird shadows on there and some cool, it's going to show up some cool contrast in the lines of the car depending on what you're shooting. Can you take a step one way or the other? Is it going to be better to shoot from one angle? Even, honestly, sometimes when I take photos at events, it can be the difference of 2 meters that makes a huge difference, and just the angle, the way a car comes around the corner or comes over a crest or something, just that slight change in angle, going from standing up to crouching down. If you've ever seen me at an event or doing a photo shoot, I get into some really weird, awkward positions just because it lets me get that camera to a spot that I can take photos that other people don't get, that other people aren't willing to put themselves into. 9 times out of 10, you see people turn up. Even pro photographers I see do this. The guys that are on the books for magazines and stuff, you'll see them all the time. They literally just get their monopod, set it up, bang, 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 done. Cool. Your photo's going to look the same as everyone else's photos. I personally like trying to get as different a photo as I can to anything else. So I'll crouch down, I'll sit on the floor, I'll lay down sometimes if I have to. I'll get into between little, shoot between, little shots in barriers just to kind of get that weird little angle or whatever it happens to be. I try and think outside the box for my own style. That may not be you. You might like just that stock kind of looking photo. That's fine. If that's what you like, that's what you shoot. Personally, I try and shoot as different as I can and try and get as different angle as I can. And cars, especially low shots, looking up at them are really cool. It makes the front of the car look really mean and aggressive. High shots are going to give you a lot more overview of the car and give you more of almost a holistic kind of look at the car. Tracking shots are going to give that motion blur in the background. Shooting down the side of the car is going to give you leading lines and lead your viewer into the photo a lot more. There's a whole bunch of different ways of doing it. The most important thing is to do research before you even get out there. Of the car, of the subject, of the type of images you want to end up with at the final product. Without going in with a plan in mind, you kind of just fly blind, and you get to the end, you come and do a post and you go, oh, I really wish I got that photo, and I really wish I got that photo, and if I'd just taken a step this way, I could have gotten a better image for that one. Have a think about it. Don't feel, the beauty with digital is we can shoot 6,000 photos and go back and just chop and change them. Like, take a photo, it's static car, race car, whatever it happens to be, take a couple of photos, go back, look through your camera. If you need to, chirp it, change your settings a little bit, change your feed a little bit, get a different angle, have a look and go, okay, how can I make this image a little bit better? How can I make it more my style and more what I want to see in the final product? But do your research beforehand is going to make that so much easier. Have a look at the track. As I said, bring up Google Maps. Have a look on Google Maps. Okay, so I can get there and I can get there. And if I get there, I can get them coming around this corner here. Or have a look. If you're doing a static car shot and you've got a couple of days, drive to where you're doing it. If it's local, drive to where you're doing the photo shoot at the time you're going to be doing it. Cool. What's the lighting like? All right, cool. If we park it here, we're going to have the light behind it. Okay, so we have to turn around. I can have the light on the side so I can get a nice bright image. Or if I park it this way, I can get that street light's going to point down on it at night. It's going to give a nice cool shadow and real mysterious, dark, funky kind of look. Do a bit of research. It's going to make your life so much easier and so much going to give you a result you're so much more happy with than just kind of flying blind and just shoot, come back and going, oh crap, I really didn't need that sort of stuff. I'm more than happy to. I'm still learning. I've been doing this I'm into photography for 20 plus years now. I got my first film camera when I was 16. Actually, earlier than that, crikey. Wow, it's well over 25 years I've been shooting now. My first DSLR I got when I was 16. My first film camera I got when I was about 12. So I've been shooting for close to 30 years. I don't know everything. I 100% don't know everything. I'm completely self-taught. I've done one course over my years, which is a portrait photography course to learn a lot more about off-camera lighting, which completely changed the view of how I view things. And I grew a lot from that. But I'm completely self-taught and I'm still learning. I love my images, but I always look for something different. I'm always looking at growing. I'm always looking at learning. So if I'm shooting somewhere I don't know, or I'm shooting a subject I don't know, or at a time I don't know, I do my research. I jump on Google, I have a look around, I look at other photographers, even especially if you're shooting an event. If that event has been on before, Google, whatever it happens to be, Power Cruise from the year before, 2022. So this year's 2023 coming up. Google it, Power Cruise 2022. Look at Google Images and have a look at what people shot last year. Have a look at it. And you can kind of figure out just by looking at it, cool, they seem to be standing here and here. Cool, I kind of like that photo, but I think this angle would look a little bit better if I can get to this spot. Obviously, if you've got media accreditation for events, bigger events are a lot harder. Smaller events, have a chat to the guys that run it. Quite often they're happy to have people covering them and supplying images to them to help them out. And they want to advertise their event if they're going to let you get in there. Make sure you know the safety rules of wherever you're shooting. Make sure you talk to whoever is running the event to get a safety briefing to know what you can and can't do. because there's a lot of safety things around motorsport that you have to be careful. It is a very dangerous sport. If you're just going as a general public, just as a spectator, there's no reason you can't get to some pretty cool spots. As I said, majority of the people that turn up are literally going to be point and shoot, point and shoot, point and shoot. Think of, some ways you can make the advantage or take advantage of what you've got. Get to a slightly different angle, shoot through the fence at a different angle. Quite often the big Hurricane fences, if you get, especially a bigger lens up against the fence, you can get, avoid the actual look at the fence through it and get a clear image. And it looks like you're on the trackside. Shoot through the fence itself, so you can just kind of shut through the gate. You put your lens right up against it. You can get away with it sometimes. Sometimes if you have to go up the hill a little bit, if there's a spectator hill, you can go up the hill and you can shoot over the fence. If you've got a telephoto lens or a zoom lens, you can shoot over the fence and see, different angles without seeing the fence in there and get away with that sort of stuff. Even with the smartphones, you can, quite often get zooms, put on a little tripod or a gimbal if you've got one, shoot over the fence on zoom, and you can get a lot better images than what, some people are just going to stand there and point through the fence and you're going to get this fence in the way and it just looks horrible. Have a think, do your research beforehand, you'll find you're going to get a lot better result in the end. So give it a go. As always, guys, experiment. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the episodes of this Basics of Photography course. And I will see you in the next video.